All right, so this is the August web dev SIG for koha-US, and let's talk about web dev stuff. What do we got?
I had a question about the Monday minutes from like a week or two ago with that card, electronic library card stuff that that Jesse and Kelly showed off that you had written, Lucas. I couldn't get it to work with the API version.
Yeah, I only recently realized that while testing that on the OPEC, I was testing as a super librarian always.
So that's kind of what I figured is the only way it would work is if you were logged in.
So now I've reverted back to a different way, which unfortunately uses a report. I can't get a non-super librarian's card number. So I have to have a very simple report that just, I think with the borrower number gets the card number. I could give that to you, George. And
I already got it. You know, it was on a previous blog post that you had done in Bywater, and I was able to get it that way. So.
Yeah, that's on me and my fault because I said, oh, we could just use the API for this. Tested, updated the blog, and later realized I hadn't tested with regular users.
Yeah, I've never done that. I've never tested on myself and then said, oh, this is how it works. And then turns out that it only works that way for me. That's never happened to me. It happens to me all the time. So I understand completely what happened there. So that explains why it didn't work, though.
Also, there's been a lot of interest in this. A lot of libraries have asked me to implement it for them. So I'd like to file a community bug and just put it into Koha.
That would be awesome. You know, we're doing our upgrade this weekend, and there are so few things that I mean, the training for us is virtually non-existent. There's so few things that are new in 2205 for us, or
2111 and 2205 are very slim releases, I would say.
So I'm putting this in there. We have a meeting in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to put this in there the next day and say this is something so that I've got something to train people on.
Yeah,
essentially
these two releases will be pretty quiet, but then the release, which is master right now, 2211, is going to have a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Okay. Well, that answers my question why that didn't work, is because it can't work.
Yeah. Apologies. I will update that blog post. So
I think you should maybe suggest to Kelly and Jesse that they take that Monday minute down if they haven't already.
Yeah, or I think all we have to do is really update the blog post and use the report. And that's what I've been doing for partners that have asked me. So it's not my favorite to use reports like that, but
it works.
It seems to be the only way to make that work at the current moment.
Okay. I got it to work with the report, no problem. So as a matter of fact, it was pretty simple.
Although I wouldn't mind it's just a very simple dev where if you're logged in somewhere in the HTML, you're presented with your card number. If that's a hidden element or something. So you can do things like this or in other sorts of jQuery.
Well, I know in the staff client and reports, you can generate a QR code. And so that's, I think, would be the best thing as far as I'm concerned, if there was just development that had a spot you could turn on in the you know, your summary, your if there was just one there that said your card that would present a QR code as a
in master now. I think maybe in 2211 there's this, right? So like, and Koha already has this in there, but this sort of builds it in to where you can generate barcodes.
That's awesome.
you could do this right now. So if you took this URL and plugged it in, it would work on the staff client. This doesn't work on the OPAC, and I think that was because of like misuse concerns.
Mhm.
But I think I'm going to file a bug and see about if that could be moved over. Then card numbers and digital library cards could easily be added to the OPAC.
Yeah, I'd like to see it as a QR code because I think people understand that better. And
yeah, and one more share. I think it's already there. Like
so that has an option code 30. Okay, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's got all these barcode types, including
Cool.
QR code. So if you're doing something staff client right now, you can certainly generate barcodes.
Well, cool. Other than that question, I got nothing today.
I guess I can share all of my fun times unless you got something, Barbara. You want to go first?
No, I have a bug that I was gonna just briefly talk about. It's when you're logged into your account on the OPAC, when you're looking at your checked out and your overdues, it'll show you the cover image. But if you go over to the holds tab on the summary, you don't see the image, and it just seems like it would be a nice thing that if, you know, you're looking at, well, what do I have on hold, that you'd see the image because maybe you don't remember what that particular book is or whatever. It just seems like it'd be a nice additional piece of information for the patron.
Is that a bug you already filed, or?
Yeah.
I just commented on it.
Good.
Oh,
I said, don't add this. It's crazy.
You're so contrary, George.
No, I said this would be a great idea. So
I agree. I think that will be a good addition.
And I don't think I've put a bug out for this one, but on the holds history tab, there's no image there. And it seems like that also would be a good place to include it. So if you're going back through holds and things, you could see that. That's all I had at the moment.
I had a bunch of post upgrade stuff I did. So I guess I can share that. So the first one, there was a regression in the search results, which has already been patched and pushed in like 2111, where the due date went missing on the search results, and that threw some people off. So I just went in and if the item was checked out, I put this little checked out message there until that due date can come back. And that's bug 31071. But like I said, it's already been pushed and it looks like it's being backwarded. So that's,
yeah, I think that went all the way to 2111. So it should come in a PS upgrade.
Yeah,
next month.
So in the meantime, I've just gone in and found the ones that are checked out and added just a root. There's like a 1 in that normally. So I just replaced the 1 with the checked out message on those.
Nice.
On the course reserves module, they added this section where you can add things to the course reserve by bib number. We're using it for displays. As you can see, I changed it all up. But this threw some people off because we don't have any reason to make additions via bib numbers, but I didn't want to just totally hide it. So I added some code to collapse that down. So it's less obtrusive, I guess, intrusive, whatever. And so they don't have to scroll down the page to the submit button. And that's on the It's on the batch add to course reserves page, which is what I'm using for everything. I took away some other of those pages. And that one is just this code, I think. Yeah, so I'm replacing some things, adding that little chevron. That was my big victory here, was making the chevron toggle sideways and down.
Nice.
So just a little things. On this page, I had to hide the new check boxes and the cancel hold button. So it's these, because the way the permissions are working right now, if I want to allow people to cancel hold, then they have to be able to have these checkboxes turned on. But I don't want them to be able to change priorities and things. So I've blocked that part down, and I got rid of all these checkboxes. And I think that was a Barber enhancement. So I just wanted to share that I had to turn off this.
I'm glad you shared that. That's something I need to take care of too.
Yeah.
The problem with a consortium is that if people can cancel things and reorder things, they will.
Yeah.
My
So-
patrons come first, so, and they'll muck it up every time.
And this one's pretty simple. I mean, I'm just hiding that first column and then hiding that button. Oh, I also changed the color of the trash can to red, because why not? And that's this tomato. So that was number 3. I hid the main contact method on the patron entry form. I don't have that one pulled up, but we don't use that. So, and then I went down a rabbit hole yesterday. So I've been adding these little icons on the permissions page because I want to lock some things down. But I also realized that I personally want to be able to access all the checkboxes. So I made these little toggles to turn off the JavaScript or the CSS on the page. Of course, if I turn off the JavaScript, it goes away entirely because there's no JavaScript running. But the CSS toggle actually works on page, so it'll like turn it on and off. And this was fun because some pages already have a query string started and some pages don't. So we have to account for both of those things. And it works as far as I can tell. So if on this page, there's no query string, turn off the JavaScript, it's pre-appending the string with the question mark. On a search page, for example, there is a query string started. So I'm using slightly different code to append it with the ampersand. So it works pretty smooth. And on this one, I just set it up for super librarians. So they're the only ones that see those toggles. So here's the code for that. There's probably cleaner ways to do it, but it worked. And I was excited that it worked.
I use something pretty similar, except it's a grease monkey script. So when you disable it, those buttons still pop up since it's not koha.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I use Grease Monkey too for stuff like that. So stuff that nobody else in the world needs but me.
Right.
Then I have something else. Oh, this one's for George. So I'm pre-filling some dates. This is a report that I took from George, and I also stole the code to pre-fill some of these parameters. But with the calendar changes, these dates got thrown off. So I had to change it was this part of the date conversion string because it like flipped it around and was giving me weird dates. Like it formats the dates slightly differently with the new calendar plugin.
I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, I've had some struggles kind of learning how to manipulate the new flat picker, date picker.
I suppose I can just log in and steal it from your system, can I?
Yeah. You don't even have to log in. You can just go to my staff login page and
That's
view the
true.
source.
I'll just log in. That way I can break something too on there.
Excellent. I'm leaving after this meeting for the weekend, so please break it now so that they have to suffer over the weekend. So that's pretty much everything that I've been working on lately. A lot of just hiding stuff that the upgrade gave me because I can't have it at the moment.
I did notice also on the OPAC when you're logged in and you're looking at your checkout history, if you have uploaded a local cover image for the item, it doesn't show. And it seems like that would also be a nice thing, that that image would follow through, you know, to all these different displays if you've got it. So like if somebody looks up their library of things and their STEM kits and their, you know, so we have pictures for all of those. You know, none of that shows on the checkout history. And let's see. Also, it doesn't show on just your summary of checkout. So it's not coming across, the local images aren't coming across.
Maybe we need the same kind of white box that Owen added to the OPEC and the staff client, where it'll show you everything that you have set. So if you have a local and a synthetics and a COSI, it will show you all three in the little white box slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should add that everywhere.
I'm big on images. So. I'm also interested in the new interface staff interface that's being worked on. And I saw that Owen commented on the bug this morning, I guess, and I took a look at what he had as some new alternative displays for the header and the search box and the way that is. And I really liked what he did. We were going to try and, you know, talk about that and show a little bit of it at our koha-US general meeting, but the sandbox seems to be gone again or not working. So I'd love to see it kind of there so people could always get into it and see what's going on.
Yeah, and if the rest of you haven't looked at the sort of mock-ups and stuff that Owen's added, you should and comment on them. You're on mute, George.
I saw his email today, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So I'm trying to find it right now.
Do they have any kind of time frame goal for this project?
I don't know. Originally it was 2205, but that's came and gone. So there's a lot of changes there, and probably a lot of people have various opinions on how that looks and stuff like that. It's a lot of changes, so I don't know. Be nice if it was in this coming release, but I don't know if we're gonna get there or not.
Yeah.
They're gonna get there or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I rocked the boat a little when I said that search box and the way at the top is too small. And
that seems to be the biggest complaint so far that I've seen regarding this redesign, is the search box.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are many people that work at our libraries that there's no way, it was so tiny, there was no way they could have seen what they were doing in there.
And Owen's latest alternative is using, you know, the checkout, check-in, renew instead of the icons, which I think for a busy, you know, information desk, that's pretty imperative to kind of have it be in your face, easy to see, easy to get to. And I think at one point somebody made a comment about, maybe the icons could be used if you were on a mobile view or something. And I could see it more for something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Owen's little animations here, and I definitely agree. I didn't think those icons were especially intuitive. Like,
Yeah.
if a new person comes in, they aren't going to know what those icons mean, and even some of my old people aren't. So I like this better, where it's actually labeled.
I just found his email, so.
Here, I'll put this in the chat for the viewers at home. That's the Embryo link that Owen had shared those ideas on. I'll plug in there too. A good measure.
I think, the international community, I think one of the things they like about icons is that they don't have to worry about translating them.
Yeah.
But if they're, like 2 millimeters high, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he's using the same terminology that we're currently using, so I would guess all that's sort of already taken care of.
No, this isn't horrible. I know what I hate, and I don't hate this.
Overall, it's looking pretty good. It's looking great. There's always going to be some things to nitpick on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough transition no matter what. So like just getting there and then moving forward is probably the best.
It's my experience in the past is when something graphically changes on the screen, staff will scream and yell about it for about 2 days, and then a week later you ask them about it and they don't remember what it was like before. So
yeah.
I still have a question, and I have an open ticket on it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hold on. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
So still having an issue with this, no items available, and there's no other information. So I went into that preference, that OPAC results max items. We talked about that at some meeting. I can't remember where. And I tried different things, and for me, it doesn't seem to change much of anything.
Let's see here.
I think that preference does something different.
That's why I couldn't tell if it really affected this or not. And then I happened to look at this title is in a list. So I looked at the list.
Barbara, pull up this URL. It has the disabled CSS. So just by using that, I can tell that we have a custom CSS problem, because I can see those. Oh wait, on the top one I don't. The very first one though, I don't.
Yeah. I thought I disabled both the CSS and the JavaScript at different times and couldn't come up with,
Huh.
and then I wondered if it was my XSLT in some way.
Oh, and do you have custom?
Yeah. And like when I go over here and look at, this is a list. Now in the list, I get information about available to check out and not available. It doesn't look very good, but.
So there were some changes in HTML structure to this results page. I've seen several tickets. Typically it's been custom JS or custom CSS that's thrown it off, and I fixed it that way. But yeah, this time it may be your custom XSLT.
And I know, I think we've talked how we need to probably go through and find out all the custom things I've got and see if we can move those over to other ways of dealing with it. So that may be what I need to have done.
Yeah, we might want to look through that, because if we can do stuff without using custom XSLT, if we can use the API and JavaScript to get the stuff you need on your page the way you want it, we should, because custom XSLT is not super great, because you run into this sort of like custom branch thing where you're.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what broke this for me in the end. I just looked because I thought it was that system preference as well, but I hadn't changed the system preference on my live server at all. I just gotten rid of the custom style sheet and it fixed it. So that's definitely what my problem was.
And if you go to your XSLT system preferences, Barbara, you can find the one for OPAC results, copy the value of that system preference somewhere else, and just put in the default, which just the word default, save it, go back, look at your XSL, look at your page, see if it's better.
Yeah.
And that can at least, tell you if.
And
I
hadn't done that yet, because it seems like when I had taken out the custom XSLT link and then tried it with defaults, and then it's like, okay, all I'm doing is, kind of doing a toggle, and now I'm going to put back what I had.
Yeah.
It wouldn't come back, and I'd have to open a ticket. And so I hadn't done that yet, just simply out of.
You can also open a ticket. We do the opposite way, where I take your XSLT and put it into my test environment and see what happens. Maybe it's safer.
Can you use the URL trick thing with that system preference?
Which
I guess
trick?
it doesn't put the default in, then it just strips the XSLT entirely, right?
If you have it just set as default, the word default, it should just get the style sheet that's the XSLT style sheet that's from Koha properly for your version.
So I guess I'm wondering, like, if we did this where we're disabling that system preference, then what's it falling back onto?
You all use custom style sheets, if I'm not mistaken, right? For XSLT.
So. I'm getting away from it. My results don't anymore because of this problem, exactly. But I have some other stuff in there that needs replaced with jQuery.
Other web dev related bug enhancement is 15.326, which got pushed to master, I think, just the other day, it's going to be nice to add a CMS feature to Koha properly. So you can build your own pages.
Instead of the hacky thing we've been doing for like the last 5 years.
Yeah, and that's actually not even in Koha properly. It's in Bywater builds, but this is going to use the same tool as additional contents used for news and HTML customizations now.
That's cool.
So you'll be able to build pages that way.
And the thing I like about that is it means we can limit a page to one branch.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's going to be just much more user friendly to use. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential there.
What's that?
A lot of potential. Lots of things
Yeah,
you could do
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
It's a lot of potential for more work too. I want a
That's true.
custom page. I want a custom page. Give me a custom page.
No
That's
one
true.
has to know. I mean, it just has.
Yeah.
It's a tool in our pocket. We don't have to tell them.
But it also makes it to where librarians can you can put their whole web presence into their Koha OPAC if that's what they wanted to do.
Oh no, let's not think about that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about. Well, it seems like we've quieted down. I'm going to head out because I've got today's the first day of school and I'm going to have to go pick up kids soon. So see y'all later.
Okay.
See you, George.
I'm kind of out of topics. Web Debbie, got anything else?
I don't think I have anything else.
I have a unrelated question for Lucas. I guess everything's web dev, right? Do you know if there's been any progress on the problem with the auto renewal, like duplicate messaging issue? I think you've got one of my tickets on that.
Let's see, is that the two? So let's see. So what you're saying when you say duplicate, do you mean you say you have 2 of 2 renewals and you're on the second one and day one it auto renews and says your thing is auto renewed and now it's due in the future, and then the next day you're getting what is called the too many error.
Yep.
Where it's then the next day you get a sort of confusing 2 patron messages that says this will no longer renew.
Yeah, even though there's renewals available, they're getting that second message saying you ran out of renews. And then when it actually becomes due, then it does get renewed. It's like it's using too many instead of too soon. That's what I'm
Too soon is too soon is related to your no renewal before circulation rule, and there is bug 30755. Too soon should not be counted as an error, which to me makes sense, right? Like this just shouldn't be an error, an auto renew error. You just shouldn't get anything if it's too soon. That confuses folks too. I think the too many, there's been different discussions on if it should be there or not, and some want it, some don't. If I have a ticket of yours, I apologize, I haven't looked at it yet, but I do have I do have a template that will work better where we just completely eliminate that error, and we can do that with Template Toolkit.
Okay.
So
So yeah, I'm currently using the template that's on that bug you just mentioned. And that one didn't do it for me. So
is this happening for you for both auto renewals and auto renewal digests?
I think so, because it was happening with the regular auto renew message, and then the suggestion was move to the digest and we can fix it. And we did that and it was still happening. So
Okay, I think I have a fix for you. I just need to go look at your templates, test it, make sure it works, and I will provide you with that template toolkit. Auto renewals lately have been buggy. Auto renewal notices at least have been sort of difficult to get the templates right.
yeah, and this is, I mean, we've only got one library testing it right now, and it's only being tested on staff members. So like, this is our first kind of step into auto renewals.
Okay. Yeah, essentially the best thing to do there that I could think of right now is just eliminating that error from ever sending anything in the notice.
So the too many error.
Yeah, I think the other thing though, folks have done is just change the messaging to be less confusing. Like instead of like this has failed and that's concerning to patrons, it's just like just hey, just so you know, like this won't renew again. You've reached your limit.
Yeah.
So you could do that too if you'd rather still tell people like something like, hey, it's not going to auto renew again, and it is still due on X day. Then furthermore, somewhere I'll have to dig it up, but Kyle wrote a patch that I know has been pushed to master. I don't know which versions it's leaked down to, that will let us in templates perform logic based on like 1 of 2 renewals, 2 of 2 renewals, and get that info, which will make it a lot easier to do the things people want in the notices.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because I think it would be really nice if you could, you know, your thing auto renewed. This is 2 of 5. So hopefully that's coming in the future.
Awesome. All right, that was my last question. I've exhausted my problems for the day. Anything else we want to talk about before we close up shop?
I guess just that next month's web dev meeting will be at the KohaCon conference. I'm not sure which day it's on, either the.
Isn't this one the last of the last?
I think it's on the last day because I realize my flight leaves that day and I won't be able to make it to the web dev meeting.
So that's probably September 23rd.
I think it's on Saturday. It's on Saturday or
Friday.
Friday.
So Friday at, I guess we're not last to last. We're Friday at 11 a.m.
I think consortium is last.
Yeah. But yeah, and I don't, Christopher had mentioned that you might not be able to make it, so I offered to stand in. I was already standing in for sysadmin, but now I might not be since Andrew took that one over. So, but I mean, I'll be there. So. All right, well, awesome. See you guys in person next month.
Yeah, exciting.
All right, we'll wrap it up then. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
See y'all.